Um, Now, I want us to look a little bit at the models. There's a generic business incubation model where you're going to look at all the stages of a business or a startup life. You're going to start from I have an idea, or even when they don't have an idea. So, for example, you might not have so many ideas coming into your incubator as an incubator, and you're going to look for them. So, you're either going to work with academia or just put out a call for young people and say, if you have technological skill, if your focus is on tech, or if it's not on tech and you're just a general incubator, you're going to say, we want to support you to come up with a business. So, on day X, we are setting up an ideation workshop. And so you're going to just invite people. They may have ideas, they may not have ideas. You're just going to invite them and help them come up with a business idea that could be relevant within the chosen market that they have. And then from there, you're going to now accelerate them. You're going to help them look at, okay, what's my value proposition as a business? Who is my customer or who is my target customer? For me to be able to grow this, who do I need on my team? Who funds such businesses, or how do I raise capital for my business? And then from there, you're now going to move into the technical business support, where you're looking at the particular business. You're moving away from looking at the general picture where you have 10 entrepreneurs and you're offering them general support, how to write a business plan. For this particular bit in the incubation, you're now moving into, okay, as business X, what challenge are you facing now? What is your 6 months milestone plan look like? And then they'll say, in the next 3 months, we should have done this. And you as an incubator, you're going to look through each of those plans and see, are they feasible? Then you're going to help them come up with an action plan on how they are going to achieve those. And then on a monthly basis or weekly basis, whatever it is that you decide, you're going to look to help them see, okay, so last week or last month we said we would be able to do this. Have we been able to do it as a business? And then maybe the business will come to you and say, no, we weren't able to do it because we failed to reach or to go over this hurdle. And then you as an incubator, it would be your role to help them figure out how to go over that particular hurdle. It could be that they needed permission from a government office and they were not able as themselves to be able to get it. Your role as an incubator would be able to go to that public office and say, hey, I have a young person who's trying to do this that I believe is going to help the country grow either economically or socially, and they need to be able to do this. Would you support them? So you're basically helping them go through all that, and then preparing them for investors, and then being that link for them to be able to meet investors. You're basically an overall kind of incubator where they know, if I come in with my idea, by the time I graduate, I will have everything that allows me to be able to go and rent a front door office on my own and be able to succeed. So you're focusing on creating successful businesses, looking at every area of business incubation. And this is a model that most incubators have taken. When you look at Hive Collab or when you look at NILAB, they're going to help businesses go through all this process. But then not every hub takes that model. Again, depending on your ecosystem, who your stakeholders are, you're going to be able to determine what kind of services, and then your capability also. It is, you need to be, for you to build credibility as an incubator, in whatever model you choose, you need to be able to have value for the people that you bring in. You could be just a co-working space where people just come in, sit, use internet, use the desks and chairs and front office service, but you're not offering any support. That is also fine. Depending on what model that you choose, it will determine the kind of people that you bring in and what support you offer. So on the generic one, again, you're going to look at the pre-incubation, you're going to look at business incubation and launching the companies. You're basically helping them. The way to do this for most incubators is either through business plan competitions, ideation workshops. You're going to work with the startup weekends. You're going to have an accelerator, maker spaces, all this. You can be all that as a hub, still depending on why you started the hub in the first place, or why you're planning to start a hub in the first place. Business incubation, where you're basically looking at dedicated programming for the business. As I have said, you're having one-on-one, you have milestones. There's basically an accountability relationship, a support and accountability relationship, where the businesses know Hive Collab is going to ask me where I am at this month and where I'm going next month. And they know it is not just I come in, sit, enjoy the services. No one cares about what I do. Depending on the kind of, if you're not just a co-working space, then you're going to have some kind of accountability, some kind of follow-up. Most incubators in Africa say they are an incubator, co-working space and all that, but most of them are just co-working spaces. So you have to have a structured process of how they enter and how they leave. So when the business comes in, or when the person with an idea comes in, they know this is what this incubator is going to offer me. This is what this incubator expects from me. And this is when they expect me to have left. So you're basically going to have an entry and exit plan for each business that comes in. And your exit period could be between 1 and 2 years or 3 years. I have found that some businesses, 2 years is good enough time. Some businesses, 3 years is good enough time. And then there'll be those people who will grow to a point where they don't need to be in your incubator, but because of the cheap services, they will not want to leave. So for you to be able to create a space for other people, you have to have a very clear entry and exit point. And then launching of companies, there are people who will come to you and they just need specific support. So for example, maybe their challenge is a technical problem. They want to launch this idea. If it's a tech startup, they want to launch this idea, but they've failed to overcome a certain bug. And so what they need from you as an incubator is a seasoned developer or someone who will look at their code and let them know where the problem is. And once they've clicked on that, then they're out of there. So you're basically offering particular services to these businesses, or they've come to you because they've reached that point where they now just need investment in their business. So as an incubator, depending on whether you're for profit or non-profit, you are able to either take equity in these businesses if you're going to fund them. As an incubator, if you have a fund, a business fund, or you have partnerships that are willing to offer these businesses capital investment, that as soon as you groom them and nurture them, you've made a partnership and they'll be able to be funded. You're going to take equity in their businesses, and that equity could be either equity or debt, or equity that allows payback, where the business can give you equity, but they can bring you out at a certain point. So depending again on why you've started this incubator and what kind of support you want to offer, you will be able to pick what kind of services that you actually want to offer a business. And in some countries, a nonprofit may not be allowed to take equity in business, but that shouldn't be, at least in the African continent. You should be able to take a certain stake. It could be 2% of the business that you take and support them. That way, actually, it creates more accountability, because as a business, you've not just invested services, but you've invested your resources, and you need to know where this business is going for you to be able to reap back from what you've invested. So you are an investor yourself as an incubator. Then there's the structure models, where we're now looking at accelerators. So you're basically helping them create credibility. Like I said at the start, depending on the stage, whether they're in pre-incubation, growth stage, or post-incubation, you might create an accelerator. I'll look at accelerators like Unreasonable East Africa. Unreasonable East Africa will take businesses that have earned a certain level. So they're not taking pre-incubation. They're not taking idea stage. They're taking the incubation stage businesses, or businesses that are scaling. And when they take these businesses, they are offering them particular services for a particular period of time, and then letting them go. So there's not going to be a physical space where the entrepreneurs are going to come and sit and say, this is our office. No, they will take them away for a particular period of time, maybe place them in a house. There's a program, an agenda. This is what we are going to take you through. We expect this at the end. And so you're basically shortening the learning curve. It is not as long as the incubator one that is going to take a year or two. It is going to be very fast-paced. You're either going to identify a challenge that the business has and prototype on that, come up with a prototype, send them off. So for example, let's say there's this business that is trying to increase their reach, or they're trying to increase their market base. So you're basically going to focus your accelerator on taking them to market, or commercialization, or access to networks. So it kind of focuses on particular things. It conceptualizes the incubator system, gives them that structure. It can support new firms or already existing firms. Most incubators, typical incubators, do accelerators for early stage, i.e., idea stage incubators. Idea stage incubatees, or growth stage, where you're now supporting them in a particular thing. So in these days, a presence of both equity and debt financing. Most accelerators like Y Combinator, Techstars will actually offer money. Some of them will not, like Unreasonable East Africa will not give you money, but they will connect you to other investors that will be able to give you money. So they are basically helping you create credibility. If Unreasonable East Africa has credibility as an accelerator, and they have a rigorous process of getting in entrepreneurs. When they get you in, that is already a plus for you. When you go to an investor and say, we've gone through this program, now we are seeking $500,000. The investor themselves will have credibility in you because of the credibility of the accelerator that you went through. So as a business incubator that is setting up an accelerator, you will need to be very careful on who you take in, and also have success stories. You're basically offering real support that the entrepreneurs need, that they will become successful, and basically create a funnel for you, either to attract investors that will be able to invest in these businesses, but also be able to attract high potential startups, businesses that you will support and they will actually go through. But that is all up to you. There are different models. And right now I want us to look at the value chain model. This is still now going through, remember the whole process that I talked about? You're going to look at pre-incubation, but you're going to give it a particular period of time that you do this. So let us say we are going to do pre-incubation or acceleration for 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, we are going to pick who gets into our early stage incubation. So you may take 50 startups into your accelerator, the 6-week accelerator, and you know your capacity, or you only want to take in 25 businesses at the end of that accelerator that you want to get into your early stage incubation. So you're basically going to do the 6 weeks, and then you're going to handpick who gets in to the 25. And then after the 25, you're going to still offer particular support. It could be a residential or non-residential. You're going to offer marketing support, network, you're going to advise them, you're going to help them create a team, you're going to offer technical advice, accounting, you're going to find them a mentor, which is very important. A little bit on the mentoring program. For a mentoring program to succeed, it is very important for you to have mentors for your businesses, but it is also very important for you to craft your mentoring program in such a way that it will succeed, by knowing who you're bringing in as a mentor, what the business needs are, and then matching that program in such a way that the incubatee knows what to expect from the mentoring relationship, and the mentor knows what the incubatee expects, and monitoring that relationship. And then from the early stage incubation, where you're offering all these services, you move into the classic incubation, where you're still going to now offer funding access. This is very, very important for any business model that you take on as an incubator, because you're going to offer them all this technical support, but if they don't have access to capital, the business is going to stagnate and they will not go anywhere. So create relationship with the investors, with different modules of how they can raise capital as businesses. That way they know once they go through your accelerator, your incubator, they are going to have access to funding. It could be your own, where you set up your own incubator fund, or you're going to partner with different connections or investors like OCA, Open Capital Advisors, Bid Network, and all the different ones that we have on the African continent. And then the graduation program, where you decide that you're going to offer post-incubation services. So here, a business has gone through your incubator, they've graduated, they've gone on, they've opened their own offices, but they still need support from you, either on general business services or particular services, and you're still going to invite them back to receive those services from you. It could be that maybe when they were in your incubator, they still needed mentors, but they've grown to that level where they are in terms of revenue, they can afford to be on their own, or the number of staff that they have is too big for you as an incubator to hold. For example, at Hive Collab, beyond 12 employees, you can no longer be in Hive Collab. So we will send you off, even if you still need some of our services. We will send you off, and you're able to afford your own front office. We will send you off, but you're welcome to come back and attend our trainings and have access to a mentor and all the other resources that we actually offer the in-house businesses that we have. Then there's the process incubator or corporate incubator model, where we look still at ideation. You're doing a business plan competition, or you're helping people start up businesses by motivating them. They could be just young developers who have skill, but they're just not motivated to start their own businesses, or they don't know that they actually could. So you're first of all nurturing the spirit of innovation, of entrepreneurship in them. So you're promoting this whole ecosystem of incubation, of entrepreneurship, of innovation to them. Then after that, you're going to offer business planning, you're going to do due diligence with the businesses and offer consulting services to them. This is still a very early stage. They have good ideas. So you're sieving through to see what businesses make sense. Would this make sense in this particular market? If you have encountered startups or ideas, you have found that some can come to you and they believe they will be the next Facebook of Africa or something, or they have the biggest thing that's coming up. But on hearing it, either you have had that same idea from 10 other people and know 5 other people that are working on the same thing, or you've seen a startup that has tried it and it has failed for reason X, X, and X. So you're able to advise them. You're going to consult and advise them on whether it's actually going to be feasible or not. And then you're looking at prototyping, helping them actually build the first prototype before they now go and produce 1,000 devices for a particular market. Can they first build the first 2 and test it out with the actual market and see whether it will work? And then you're going to help them be able to launch their business and also manage failure when that comes, and then scaling and transitioning into an actual business.